Good morning, everyone. Welcome to June. My goodness, Fee, what a epic 10, 12 weeks we've had. I think back to March when I was in Melbourne at a conference, and yeah, here we are 3 months later. Been quite a ride.
Yes, yeah. So much has gone down. So much we've heard from people. Certainly some things they're liking, but also some tension and frustration around, actually, I'm a bit over this. I really want to connect with people. In fact, I've actually done 2 face-to-face meetings this week, which has been the first time. And outdoors, we've met at outdoor cafes or walking. But yeah, it's nice to kind of be reconnecting face-to-face with some people.
Yeah. And I think, as we start to, and, we've just actually jumped off a call with some colleagues in the US, as we start to, I guess, look at the next 6-7 months, the rest of 2020, I think it's a really good time to think about what we want to achieve. And we're going to talk more about that in the month of July in terms of, okay, what's 2020 hold for me? We've got these new kind of, I'm going to say constraints, but perhaps ways of being, ways of working. So therefore, what is my priorities? What am I going to focus on? I think, and so we'll talk more about that in July. In June, what we do want to talk about, we touched a little bit on this when we were talking about early in COVID, right? Which is, what is it you want to be known for? As we navigate through this time that can be difficult for individuals, team members, bosses, organizations, what is it you want to be known for? So this month, one of the favorite conversations you are going to have that we love is all around personal brand. And so we know that this time, this experience is either really kind of X-factored your brand credibility as a leader, as an employee in your organization, or it's absolutely destroyed it. In my experience, it really has kind of gone one of those two ways.
Yeah, this is one of the fascinating pieces about brand, whether you're talking about a corporate brand, a product brand, or a personal brand, is nothing's neutral. Everything is either eroding your brand credibility or it's building and enhancing your brand credibility. So there's kind of you to be conscious of, everything I'm doing is having an impact, and everything I'm not doing is also having an impact. And the more we get clear about that and we know that that's the case, I think it provides often a reason to step in and do a little bit more, to actually think about, this is an opportunity for me, even if I'm not 100% sure what's going on, even if I don't have all the answers, I can still be seen to be communicating. I can be seen to be involved. I can ask questions. There's lots of ways that we can still do things without having to know everything.
Yeah, and I'm still visible, right? And this is, I think, COVID, and we talked a little bit around video, COVID, and I've played and had quite a lot of fun with video and really demanded when I've been on Zooms that, people put cameras on, had some good conversations in the communities around this as well, because when you don't have your camera on, the subconscious message is you've got something to hide, because it's a choice, whether that's a background or, kids running around, etc. But it is interesting, but you're invisible. And so it's much more difficult to be part of the conversation. And, you and I have known it, right? Where we've been on conversations on other platforms where we haven't been able to see everyone. And it's been a really difficult to just navigate, because even if you and I are talking and I can see from your face you're about to answer the question, as opposed to having no idea whether you're leaning into something or leaning out from something. And so I think, this camera piece has been a really potent way of being visible. Cameras off, invisible, forget you're there almost, or could easily forget that you're there, versus cameras on, visible, part of the conversation, I've got something to share. And I think, one of the things that we always talk about, personal brand, everything you say and do, everything you don't say and do, you are either constantly, to your point, I love that, you're either building brand credibility, or you're eroding brand credibility in every action, every interaction, everything you do, everything you don't do. But then this piece around, okay, if I start to step out of perhaps unconscious or automatic brand build, which is where most of us are. Yes, we're building brand, but we're not conscious. We're not thinking about what I want to be known for. We're not clear about why we're actually building brand and profile. We're just letting it happen all around us. If we start to step into consciously taking control of what I want to be known for, and we'll talk more about that next week, it's really important that we think about, okay, well, what's my outcome here? If I am going to invest time, energy, and resource in kind of getting in the driver's seat of, you know, proactively crafting and building and activating my brand, what's my outcome? Because that absolutely leads, like in any brand conversation, consumer brand, you know, what's our outcome? Is it increased sales, increased market share? With personal branding, it's the same thing. What is my outcome? What's the goal I want to achieve?
Yeah, and this is such a great conversation to start having with yourself, to start to really question yourself, examine, have some consciousness around actually, you know, if I got something I want to achieve in my career, if I've got something else I want to do in this organization, if I want to establish a new project, or if I want to ask if I can be part of a project team, or whatever it is that I want to do in this phase of my career, getting clear, having that compelling why I want to do something really feeds into, you know, spending more time investing and making sure you're attending to the things that actually are going to mean you can do what you want to do. So that, you know, I know what I want to achieve, I'm clear about that, and therefore I know what I need to do to get down that slipstream, make that happen.
Yeah, I think whenever we've done work, and this really ties into chapter 1, get clear. I think that question of how would we know? Oh, and often people get lost in this. They'll talk about building profile with a particular stakeholder or brand with a particular stakeholder. And I'll go, okay, cool. So if you'd done that, how would I know? Like what evidence would I see? What would be different? And they'd be like, oh, and then the more that you kind of probe with good questions, good coach asks great questions, and we love that, particularly when you ask yourself great questions as a self-coach, then they're like, oh, actually, they'd be coming to me and are seeking my guidance and feedback on projects. They'd be asking me to lead projects. They'd, you know, all of these, what are the behaviors, what are the conversations that would start to emerge, that you would start to experience, that would mean that, you know, you've built profile and brand. Or, you know what, actually that senior leader is approving my promotion opportunity or my pay rise. All of these things are happening in many worlds. I think, you know, we can use COVID as an excuse, or we can hold it as it's a very real constraint. Let's be real for many businesses. But it's, you know, it's, in many businesses, there's lots of opportunity playing out as well. So I think this piece around no question, everyone loves, whenever we do personal brand work in our women in leadership programs, in our external programs, everyone loves this, this work, because often many people haven't thought about it. But I think this week, what we really want you thinking about was, if you were to take conscious control of creating, crafting, activating your personal brand, what outcome would you be looking to achieve? And be really specific. One person, one outcome. What's a behavior that you would start to see that would be the evidence of success that you'd achieve that goal? And I think if we start there, the rest starts to fall into place. And of course, that's what we're going to talk about over the course of the month.
Yeah, I think this piece around, you know, some people have a bit of aversion to the term personal brand. They're a bit kind of put off by it. I think it's a bit salesy or that sort of thing. What we've found is when people actually get clear that this is about me and my career, this is about me owning my talent, this is about owning how I want to show up in the world and the kind of opportunities I'm looking for, it really shifts their mindset to, actually, this is something I want to invest in and I want to do it. So if for some reason you've kind of sort of thought personal brand was not something you want to play with, we really kind of reframe that and think about how this can serve you and how it can actually be a really powerful kind of push into something, you achieving something in your career that's really important to you.
Yeah, awesome. So we're going to leave it there. Be sure to tune in next week when we start to talk about what you want to be known for, that brand message. Two other things for you. First is we are going live next Tuesday with our first ever free 10-day confidence challenge. So that's going to be capped at 100 people so that we can really serve you. Each person in that program is going to be matched with either Fiona or myself as a coach. We're going to take you through 10 days, really looking at and unpacking your relationship with confidence and supporting you to reconnect with your core confidence. So link is below. Sign up, going to be capped at 100. Super excited to kick that off next Tuesday. And new print run in from the book fee. So lots of copies. We'd love for you to actually lighten our stocks a little bit. So we are going to offer a special 2 for $50, which includes shipping. So again, I'll make sure the link's below in the next hour or so. And if you want a copy of the book, we'd love to get one in the post to you. So take care, guys. Any questions, put a comment in below. Otherwise, have a great week and we'll see you next Wednesday.
See you next time.